Hello everyone, myself Orko Jyotide, and today we are going to solve a question that has been given in the contest 429, that is a weekly contest conducted by LeetCode. So it is a medium level question, 3397. Maximum number of distinct elements after operations. So let's first understand the question. Let me hide the code at first because directly jumping onto the code will not make you understand the logic or what you need to do or how you need to think, what should be the intuitive approach, all those things. So you are given an integer array nums and an integer k. uh, you are suppose okay, so example will make you clear. So you have to return, uh, make this clear in your mind that you have to return the maximum possible number of distinct elements. You have to make maximum number of distinct elements in the array. So how you can do that? Suppose you have been given, let's focus on the example 1. uh, for maths and coding, examples are very important, and pro coders actually just uh, they doesn't read the question, but they just uh, make an eye into the question and then jump onto the example for better understanding of the question and what it actually wants from us. So you have been given a nums array 1 2 2 3 3 4. So how many distinct elements are present in this? Four distinct elements are present, and k was given as 2. It has been said in the question that you can add any number between the range minus k to k at each element of the array to make maximum number of distinct elements. So let's focus what happened. Okay, so let's focus on the first element. The first element is 1, and I can add minus 2 minus k to k, right? K is 2, minus 2 minus 1 0 1 2. Adding 0 won't make any difference, so that's why I think here it has been shown that on each element at most once you can actually not add anything, and not adding anything means adding 0. So that's why, and you can give at most one operation. So what to do is concentrate on the first element, that is 1, and I can add any number between minus 2 to 2. Both are inclusive, minus 2 and 2. So what should I add to 1? I can add uh, minus 2. If I add something positive, then you can, okay, first of all what I can see is the array is sorted, right? You need to actually, suppose you end up, first of all you focus on 3. What I should make 3 so that it would be distinct among the elements. If I look here that if I subtract anything from 3, then it can tend to go to tend to be its elements that are previous to it, as the elements are sorted, right? So you can check one thing, that here it is num's length is 10 to the power 5 constraint, and you can think that sorting can be an algo, and both the examples are sorted, so sorting should be done here. And if I talk greedily, then what I can do, the first element is, okay, so let's pick any of the elements. Suppose I picked 3. If I have picked 3, then uh, if I subtract anything from 3, then it may end up the same element. I may end up with the same element that are previously present. If I add something with 3, then I can end up with any element that is present after 3. So you cannot directly jump in between and work on with it to make maximum number of distinct elements. So what I think, let's start with the front part. After sorting, why after sorting? Because if you don't sort, then you won't knew that what I can make my element, so that it would be distinct. I want to make every element distinct. That is my motto, that is my agenda, right? Your agenda should be clear in life and in coding as well. So what you can do is, so if I add something with 1, then let's copy this thing. Let's copy this thing into, mm, just 1 minute. Okay, so I need to go to code, I need to go to here, I need to make some space and then copy it, then ting 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 ting. Okay. So suppose I have 1 and I want to make 1 by adding or making it distinct. So let's add some 1 as well to make it a bit complex, and the more exhaustive the example will be, the more clear your logic will be, right? So try to make the examples more tricky, more challenging, so that your code will be like it would cover all the edge cases. So try to make your examples like very challenging, so your logic will be error proof, like not the errors like typo or syntax error, but logical errors, right? So what you can do, what I can add to 1 to make it distinct, I have a range between -2 to 2. If I made something positive to 1, then I can end up with the elements that are present after 1. As the array is sorted, there would be no elements before 1 if I add something positive. So for 1, uh, I can't adding 0 means nothing, right? So I can't add anything positive. If I add 1, then it would be 2. So no faida, like we don't get any benefit from it by adding 1, because already 2 is present after that. It won't be distinct, so adding plus 2 with it, no, 3 is already there. So adding something positive would not make any sense. So can adding something negative would make any sense? Yes, it will be. And how? Because if I add something negative with 1, it would reduce itself, and as it would reduce itself, it will be distinct, and before 1 there are no other elements. There is no elements in this whole array that are less than 1, because at the first index I have at first sorted the nums array. So at the first index will be the smallest possible number that is present in the nums array. So what I can do is, okay, mic is working, right? So what I can do is add something negative. So I am sure that there will not be anything that is lesser than 1 in this whole array. So I would, and what I should add, I have two possibilities now. I have possibility that number 1, I can add -1 to it, and I can add -2 to it. So what I should add, -1 or -2? mm, I want to make, suppose I add -1. So what it will be? It will be 0, and as soon as it is 0, I am going to the next element. So what I can add to the next element? So the range of the next element would be like what I can add to the next element. I cannot add, like, I cannot add -1, right? So it will be 0. I can add -2. But how would you know that -2 would work? The array should be sorted, and if I add something like -2, then I won't be able to mm, check that will what is my previous element. It should be greater than my previous element, as well as it should be, so the range of, suppose k is equals to 3, the example would be more beautiful, and here -3 is also present, and 1, what I can add with 1? I can add -2, so it will be -1, sorry, -1. And here what I can add, I can't add -1, I can add -2. I should have been adding -3, so it would be uh, 2. But for the next one, how would I know what are the things that are present before it? So for that reason, I need to make my first element after conversion the smallest. Try to make the first element after conversion the smallest one, for so that the range of the next element would be more. He can have more number of options, he or she, anyways. So it can have more number of option. I'm making the numbers as human. I'm actually pointing it. So living beings, right? So I should try to make my first number, that is 1, as minimum as possible, so that the possibilities that can be taken by my next number should be greater. I What is the minimum number I can make this? So uh, add some one more, not 1.1, man. Add some more ones in it. Done. So what I can make it? Make it minimum as possible. Make it -2. Sorry, -2. What I can make it? Okay, as I know I have made it -2, my next number should be 1 greater than -2 to be distinct. And my next number should be 1 greater than -2 and as minimum as possible. So -2 plus 1 is -1. It should be -1 and as minimum as possible. So is can I make it -1? -1, I can, right? I can add -2 to make it -1. So it can be -1 is possible. So what, for the third one, for the third element and the second index, what I need to add? I need to make it 0. So what I need to add? -1. I need to make it 1 greater than the previous element, as well as minimum as possible within the range. So it can be 0. For the next element, for the fourth element, what I can do, I should make it 1, but Can I make it 1? 1 is already there. By adding 0 I can. For this element I should make it 2. But is 2 possible? uh, yeah, 2 is possible, but it would uh, like it would clash with the next two. But don't worry it now. Believe in the algo and everything would be sorted out. So this is a greedy algorithm, right? You are trying to finding the local optimum to go to the global optimum. Every local optimum, like optimizing it locally for all the steps, you can reach to the global optimum. This is greedy algorithm. We humans, we often prefer instant gratification rather than delayed success, right? That is greedy algorithm. You are too greedy to take those to like you are too greedy in the present moment that you can't think of the future. Many times greedy algo works, many times not. As in life, many times greedy decisions work and many times not. So in this problem, greedy algo would work. What I can do now, I have one, right? So what I can do is, as I have one, mm, what I can make one. Can I make 1 to 2? Yeah, by adding 1 I can make. Can I make this one to 3? Yeah, by adding 2 I can make. Can I make this one to 4? Yeah, by adding 3 I can make. Can I make this one to 5? No, because 3 is like I can add 3 at most. Maximum I can add is 3 because k equals to 3. So, but I need to make it 1 greater than that to make it distinct. But as here I don't have the range, put the maximum in there. Please put the maximum. Like what you can make, put the maximum. 4. Can I make it 5? No, 4. So, can I make 2 to 5? Yeah, you can. Can I make this 2 to 5? This 2 to 6? No, I can't. So, let it be 5. Can I make this 3 to 6? Yeah, I can. Can I make this 3 to 6? 7? No, I can't. Can I make this 4 to 7? Yeah, I can. Because I have the range. So, uh, first of all, I am shorting it. That is n log n. And then you are traversing the whole array. That is n. So, n plus n log n is n. So, can n log n work? Yeah, it should work because the constant is 10 to the power 5. So done. In login should work beautifully here. And if you will check my code, then have I made something like accepted? So let's see my code here. Okay, I am copying it and pasting it into my IntelliJ IDEA so that you can check it pretty well and I can explain it beautifully. अगर मुझे सिर उठे so class solution, let's now check into the helper function. So first of all, this is my main function, max distinct elements. So I'm taking two things, the nums array and the k, like up to what are the numbers that I can add to my each and every element. So I have sorted the array. As you can see, as I have shown you, that first of all I'm sorting it so that I can have the range that what element up to what point I can add them, up to what point I can't, what are the element that is previous to me, and what I what are the element that I wanna make it like this thing. Okay, there is one more crux here. The crux is that it is not a good practice to actually short to actually change the input that is given in interview. If you are solving the question, you should ask that can I change the given array, and if they say no, then you should make a previous array, copy all the elements of the nums array to the new array that you have made, and then you should work upon the new array, because changing the input is not a good practice. And if you're doing that, you should ask the interviewer that okay, I'm changing this, right? Try to not change the like input things that are given to you, but if you're changing, ask if they if you believe in your algo that I need to change, then make another input, like make another input array or array list or something like that. It would take more time, so I haven't done it in lead code, but in interview scenario you should ask the interviewer for this thing. Okay, and I will show you another code that has not changed the input array. Oh, no, that has sorted the input array but not made operations into it. I have like I have made two variables to store. Okay, let's not talk about that. So what am I doing? I'm changing the first element to the minimum possible number. So what is the minimum possible number? I can subtract as max as k, right? I'm subtracting it, and now I am running a loop from the first index, that is the second element, to the end of the array. uh, Current, this is my current element, that the ith element is my current element, I minus 1 is my previous element. Okay, I loved this variable naming. I don't know how I came up with this, but I actually love the name wannabe. uh, wanna be like this number wanna be previous plus 1. It wants to be something that is previous plus 1, right? I have shown you in the logic that we are building up that the next number should be previous plus 1. LB stands for lower bound, UB stands for upper bound. I have written just LB and UB to save time to write the code, and I have mentioned it in the command so it increases the readability of my code. Okay, done. So can be the what can be the lower bound? Like what can my current element be? Minimum. I can make my current element a minimum of lower bound, and I can make my current element a maximum of upper bound. So current minus k, current plus k. If wannabe is lesser than upper bound, like wannabe is lesser than upper bound, then I don't have any option. The minimum I can make my current element is the lower bound number. So I have made that. Else if wannabe is greater than upper bound, then the minimum I can make it is my upper bound number, right? And else, this else part means if my wannabe lies in the range between the lower bound and upper bound, so it is a valid wannabe. You can like you you can put it you can make a thing here that if uh, wannabe is lesser than or equals to upper bound and greater than or equals to lower bound. So this is the condition here, but I have put it in else because when you are checking it is lesser than upper bound, when you are checking it is greater than upper bound, the else part will always come up with else part will be executed if your wannabe is in this range. So you don't have to actually write this code, this condition, because checking condition would take time, right? So now what I can make, now I so now I have assigned the current element to the uh, box of that array, to the current element to the ith index. So I am not writing every time numsify numsify numsify, because it would not make any sense. To make the code more readable and understandable, I am using the current variable and the previous variable for better naming. And now, as I have made the whole array to actually have maximum distinct elements, now what I can do is, now I have to count how many distinct elements are there. So for that, I have made a function. You should use functions, because functions will make your code logical, and later if you need to change something, if you are making good functions and giving them good name, you can change the code pretty easily, that which part I need to change or what thing I need to change. And function is reusable, right? You don't need to write the code one again and again. So I have made it private. Why I have made it private? Because the user, this is a good practice, that the helper function you are building, that should be private, because the user shouldn't have the access to this function, because this function is used by your code only.